Let's take you back to 2002, a good year where you had to be a biological woman to win a women's championship. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Wrestling. And yes, we are going to look at who was the best women's champion of the year in 2002. Now, we've got hashtag SmackDown in there. SmackDown, spoiler alert, did not have the women's championship. Although I believe Trish Stratus might have appeared on SmackDown once.
I think she definitely did, yes.
I think there was some strange thing going on where she turned up to SmackDown to defend the belt against, I want to say, Stacy Keibler.
I'm thinking so.
Or it might have been Tori Wilson, but Stacy Keibler definitely was on SmackDown for like the first half of the year. So I remember her turning up on SmackDown. I think it was Stacy Keibler. Look, regardless, doesn't really matter. With 4 women here, I believe there was only 4 women champions in 2002. I don't think anyone outside of these 4 held the belt. To your wrestling knowledge, was there any other champions?
I don't recall there being any, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, I mean, Ivory, I don't think held the belt.
No, and Lita definitely didn't.
And I know Stacy Keibler and Tori Wilson didn't. That pretty much rules it out. We know Nydia didn't either.
And what I would say is, before we get into our list, I actually think this is... I wouldn't say it's completely upside down, but I'd say it's wrong. I would say for the first time looking at these 2002 polls, I think it's...
Yeah, well,
it's on its arse.
Let's get into it. Well, there's a big arse in here. But let's get into it. So we have 72% for the win going to Trish Stratus. And while I'm not going to sit here and say that I believe Trish isn't the best champion of the year, I believe she's won this by a huge margin, and I think it should be a lot closer. I think Trish is obviously great. She had the most runs. Did she have the best run, though? That, I'm not entirely sure. I'm not going to argue that she shouldn't have won this poll. 550 votes, 72% think that Trish Stratus is the best. You've clearly stated that you aren't convinced with the outcome, so take it away.
Take it away, right. What I'm saying is, I don't think Trish Stratus...
Hopefully without spoiling the other 3, by the way.
I'll not spoil the other 3. I'm not saying Trish Stratus has by far had the worst, or hell, like you said, I might agree that she's first, but by this margin, I think it's just simply people picking Trish Stratus. Because for me, I think there's one run that's by far worse than the other 3, which we'll get to in a minute.
And I don't think it's the person in last.
Yes, it's not the person in last. And I actually think the person in last might be towards the front. But what I would say with Trish Stratus is she wins it at Mania, that triple threat match. Has a few runs with it. But overall, it's forgettable. I would say there's 2 people on this list that are actually memorable with the belt. And I don't think Trish Stratus is.
I would argue she's memorable with the belt because she has it multiple times, and if you add up the combined amount of titles, I'm pretty sure she probably has this more than the other 3 in total, just due to combined runs.
No, I would say so, but what I'm saying is I think there's 2 people on this list that did better work. So that's what we'll go for, but yeah.
I agree with that. Anyway, right, so in second place we have Victoria. She ended the year as the women's champion. She has only came into WWE probably like in the last last third of the year, last quarter of the year.
Yes, I think the work by Victoria's been very good, but I think some of the matches have been sloppy. But what I would say is I don't think it's all her fault.
No, it's normally when there's a third person in there.
Yeah, they just...
And what I've noticed is the women just don't really seem that good when there's multi-women matches. Now, they seem to do okay when it's mixed tag matches and it's multi-matches with men. But I've noticed as soon as you add like a third woman and you make a triple threat match, it's like psychology and ability just seems to go out the window.
Yeah, the time cues are just, I don't know, awful.
Yeah, the timing seems to be really off. But like, I enjoy Victoria's run. I thought the match with Trish at Survivor Series was good. Thought the rematch they had on Raw a couple weeks after that was also pretty good. I mean, it was actually probably better than the Survivor Series match, if we're being honest.
Yeah.
But it lacked, obviously, the weapons and stuff. Although that match with Trish on Raw did go very long. But yeah, Victoria's had a good run. In third place, we have Jazz.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say by far the worst, right? This is why, before people say, oh, you don't like wrestlers, you don't like black women, right? She's simply just a wrestler. See with the other 3, you've got the psycho, you've got the heel, and you've got the face. With Jazz, it's just she can wrestle.
People would argue she's a heel. What would you say to that?
You need, I don't, heel or face, you need more than you can wrestle.
And I wouldn't say Molly Holly's a heel. I don't agree with that. I think that's a poor way of describing Molly Holly. She's a heel. That's the best you've got to describe Molly Holly?
Oh, no, I can describe Molly. Yeah, she's like the unlikable heel.
That's how you've got, the unlikable heel. Is that the only way you can describe Molly Holly?
Well, you come up with a word and I'll try and hit her at the park here.
It's not about me, it's about you.
So hold on, it's not about me, but it's about you. What word do you use to describe her? I'm so wrong then. Conniving. That's another word for Molly Holly.
Well, she's got this like goody two shoes.
Yeah.
Sort of gimmick
But
going on.
The rest have gimmicks.
Her whole thing is she's a virgin and she's pure. That's what they've been
Teacher's
going with.
pet-esque. I think that's at least a gimmick. With Victoria, you've got the psycho gimmick.
Yeah, well, Victoria's crazy. No one's
She's
denying
crazy.
that,
It's like whipping out spiders, things like that. And then Trish Stratus is like your baby face.
When was Victoria wiping out spiders in 2002?
You know what I mean? It doesn't really matter. My point is, she's a psycho. I just look at Jazz and it's like, she came in. I remember Paul Henry making the big deal. It's like, oh, ECW, his last stand. And just whips out Jazz. It's like, what, really? It's like the saxophone. What? I think Jazz just sucks. Sorry, nothing about her. Can't cut promos. And then pretty much got injured in that match and never seen again.
For the last place we've got coming in, Molly Holly. I think maybe hard done by. I think Molly Holly could have arguably been first in this poll. I think
yes, I know my list would be Molly Holly, Victoria, Trish, Jazz.
Well, that's maybe my list as well. Molly Holly coming in last place there, 7%. I feel like that's actually really, really unfair. I don't think she should have 7% at all. But for some reason, not getting a lot of love here for Molly Holly. Let's look at the comments, so let's see what you guys are saying. IX Canada TV, Jazz was something I've never seen. She was strong, always kicking Trish's ass. We didn't kick it that much because she lost the belt. Crazy Cross says, I love Victoria. Kadeem says, Trish and Victoria had awesome matches. I want to see Victoria being inducted into the Hall of Fame. The hardcore women's match on Raw was brutal but iconic. Loto Kiba says, I remember Jazz reign for some reason. I remember her really helping Trish learn to wrestle, actually, because Trish got good after that. Trish, I remember her with her title a little more that year, but 03 was better for her. Victoria was late, so definitely 03 better for Victoria. Molly Holly held the belt that year. I don't even remember that, so 02 of the year for me, Jazz. I actually disagree. I mean, from what I recall, I think Victoria actually quickly goes downhill in 2003 because they turn her face. Molly Holly, I think, to say, I don't know, Jazz having a better run than Molly Holly, I totally disagree with that. I mean, Molly Holly was in so many angles, just done a lot more, was involved with the men as well, Budbury, Dudley.
King put her over big time.
Yeah, King as well, William Regal. You just remember Molly Holly being involved with other people. I don't remember Jazz with anybody, really. Richard Fitzsimmons says, all the greatest legends in WWF era. Trish Stratus is my all-time favourite. I always look up to every legend. They paved the way. Thank you, Trish. Wild Beast. These four, Ivory and Gail, came eventually. The women's division was better than we remember at times. That pisses me off when people try and run down this era and pretend that like there was nobody good in it, or that they were only getting over because they were like, I don't know, demeaning themselves. I mean, that is a load of shite. If you look at a lot of the women nowadays, they technical difficulties, but yeah, they demean themselves a lot more than Trish or these women ever did. These women didn't have Patreons. These women weren't doing OnlyFans. You know, they weren't charging fucking $5 a month to see them naked.
And at least they've all got gimmicks. Today, where are the gimmicks? There's no gimmicks to be found. Well, I can wrestle. I mean, that's pretty much the only gimmick you've got going these days. Jazz would fit in today's current scheme of wrestling, I think.
Yeah, no, she would. And also, I mean, people might say Tori Wilson did Playboy, some of the others did Playboy. But you know what? That was actually a big deal for them to do Playboy. And you actually have to be... It's actually a unique thing. Because you need to be like really attractive. You don't need to be that to have an OnlyFans. Literally anyone today can have an OnlyFans, but not everybody was getting asked to do Playboy. So even that's, I think, a big achievement for the likes of Tori Wilson. And that, I mean, her being the cover of Playboy is just a bigger achievement in her life and career than somebody opening up a OnlyFans for $5 a month. But anyway, let's move on here. Alfred Harden says Jazz because she helped Trish and the girls who weren't wrestlers turn into decent wrestlers. or decent workers even. I don't think Jazz helped Victoria, and I'd say Victoria's a better wrestler than Jazz, to be honest. Ducky Pie said, of course everyone will vote for the biggest fake tits. I mean, that could be... You could be onto something there.
72%.
Bleach Pie, Victoria coming to Tattoo. I think that was the year. Yes, it was the year. Although I don't think they have... I think the WWE Network has edited out that song, which is unfortunate, but I mean, whatever. Night Porter said, Molly Holly, such an underrated worker. Best one on this list. And I think that's where we'll finish it. I agree with Night Porter. I think Molly Holly was the best champ in 2002. Should have won. Didn't. Unfortunately for her. But here, she's won a wee heart in the comments and she's won our approval. So, yeah, congratulations to Molly Holly. But you did finish last in this. It's Trish Stratus with the win. 72% Stratusfaction guaranteed. Till next time, peace.